In this presentation, I'll be discussing what to do to declare or change your major or minor to psychology. So one of the more common reasons that students come in for psychology advising is because they're wondering what they need to do to either declare or change their major to psychology. So let's go through the process here so that you know what the requirements are to change or declare psychology as your major. So the first thing that I would suggest is to run a what-if degree progress report to see the courses that you'll need to complete when you declare psychology as your major. So if you're not familiar with the what-if function, I've outlined the process here for you. So basically what you do is you log into MySJSU, and then from your academics page, go to the drop-down box. The box will be labeled Other Academic Information, and then click on the What If report. So once you've chosen the What If report, you want to click on the double arrows, and that will start generating the report. On the next page, then you're going to click on Create New Report. Okay. So what this will do is it will show you a new page with a table containing your current academic information. So say, for example, that currently you are a biology major and you're considering changing your major to psychology. Okay, so when you run your what if report, what that will do is create this report that shows your current academic information, which is a biology major, and it will also show you the courses that you'll need to complete if you change your major to psychology. All right, so if you're wondering what you'll have to do to complete a psychology major, then on that next page with that report, what you'll do is you'll go to the area of study box on the first row of that table. Okay, so currently when you first generate the report, it should show your current major. So following the example, if you're currently a biology major, that area of study box should say biology, right? So if you're wanting to change your major to psychology, then on that box, you're going to choose Psychology BA from the drop-down menu, okay? Now, at the bottom of the page, once you've chosen Psychology BA, you're going to submit the request to generate the report. So when the report is complete, what will show up is your current academic objective, and the report simulates the following academic objective. So in other words, again, using this example, it will show you what courses you'll need to complete should you declare psychology as your major, right? So if you scroll down that report until you reach the section Psych BA Major Requirements. All right, so everything before this section should be the same. So when you create a My Progress report, it shows you your university requirements, like your lower GE requirements, your SJSU studies requirements, your American institution requirements, and so on. All of that section in this report that you've just generated should be the same. What is different in this report is that instead of showing you your current major requirements, it's going to show you what the requirements are if you do change your major to psychology. Okay, so scroll down until you reach that section, and then you're basically going to interpret the report as you would your My Progress report. Right, so in this section, it's going to show you the psychology major requirements that you've already completed those are marked in green. The ones that are currently in progress will be marked in yellow. And the ones that you need to list or take note of are the courses that you still have not yet completed, right? So those are the courses or the sections that are marked in red. So I encourage you guys to make a list of all of the psychology major requirements that are marked in red, because that will tell you what you will need to complete in order to fulfill the psychology major requirements. And it will also help you to construct your course schedule should you declare psych to be your major. Okay. All right, so let's say that you've decided, once you've created that what if report, that you've now decided that I do want to change my major to psychology, right? So again, that would be if you decided that, you no longer wanted to be a biology major, for example, and now you want to declare psychology as your major. Okay, so now what's the next step? Okay. So after you've done the what if report, now there are certain course requirements that you need to complete before you can officially declare psychology as your major. So the course requirements depend on how many units you've completed so far. So if you've completed less than 70 units, then the course requirement to declare your major to psychology is that you need to complete 2 courses in the psychology major. Okay, and those 2 courses have to be taken at San Jose State. Okay, so that's another reason that list that you just made from your what if report is important, because you could just pick any 2 classes from your list of psychology courses to be completed so that you can fulfill this course requirement. The 2 classes of coursework can include Bio 21 or 65 with the lab. That's our major preparation course. And it can also include Stat 95, which is elementary stats. Okay, but again, the most important thing is you have to complete those 2 classes at San Jose State. Okay, so that's the course requirement if you have earned less than 70 units. Now, if you have earned greater or equal to 71 units, then the course requirement is increased. Okay, so instead of completing only 2 classes, if you've earned greater or equal to 71 units, you have to have completed 4 classes of coursework in the psych major. Okay, so again, look at the list of the psych courses you still need to complete from your what if report. Pick 4 classes from that list. Again, it can include Bio 21 or 65 and Stat 95. The only restrictions is that from those 4 classes, 6 units or 2 courses have to be completed at San Jose State. The other 2 classes of the 4 classes can be from a community college or from another 4-year institution, but at least 2 of those 4 classes have to be completed at San Jose State. So that's a criteria that is also relevant for students who have completed fewer than 70 units. Okay, so 6 of the 12 units have to be completed at SJSU, or all 12 units or all 4 classes can be completed at San Jose State, but you have the option. Okay, now in addition to the course requirements, there are additional requirements that you need to fulfill in order to officially declare psychology as your major. So there are GPA requirements. So in the courses that you took to declare psych as a major, you have to have a GPA of 2.75 or higher. So in these 2 classes, if you have earned less than 70 units, or in these 4 classes, if you've earned greater than 71 units, then your GPA has to be 2.75 or higher. And the final requirement is you must not be on university probation. Okay, so once you have completed all of those requirements, then you're going to come to a psychology major advisor so we can officially change your major to psychology. Okay. Now, it's a little bit more complicated if you have earned 90 units or above. Okay, so if you've earned 90 units or above, you need to come to a psychology advisor as soon as you're thinking about changing your major to psychology, because we need to go over your expected graduation term and whether or not it's possible for you to complete the requirements for a psychology major by your expected graduation date. Okay, just to let you know that if changing your major to psychology will delay your graduation, if you've earned 90 units or above, then it's unlikely that your change of major will be approved. Okay, so if you are a student in this situation, if you've earned 90 units or more, if you're thinking about changing your major to psychology, then please come and see one of the advisors so that we can help you with that process. Okay, so that in a nutshell is the process for changing or declaring psychology as your major. So the first step again is to run a what if report to see the courses that you would need to complete if you should declare psych as your major. Once you've done that, you want to fulfill the course requirements, make sure that you meet the additional GPA requirement and the probation restriction. Once you've done that, then you want to come to an advisor so that we can officially change your major to psychology. All right, now what if you're not wanting to change your major to psychology, but you want to either add psychology as a minor or change your minor to psychology? What's the process for doing that? All right, so just like with declaring psychology as your major, in order to declare psychology as your minor, you also have to come and talk to one of the psychology advisors so that we can start that process for you. So if you're considering psychology as a minor, so let's say, again, in the example I've been using, you're currently a biology major, but you're thinking about adding psychology as your minor, then what's the process for doing that? Okay, so here I've outlined the process. So basically the first thing that you should do is to read about the different minors that we offer within the psychology department. So there are 2 minors that we have in our department. One is a general psychology minor, and the other one is a minor in human systems integration. Okay, so again, for more details about each of those minors, go to the advising page in our department. There will be a link to see the details regarding each of the psychology minors. So I've included a link here for you to use to do that. But in general, let me give you the main points of each of the minors. Okay, so our psychology minor, the general one that we offer, is a total of 18 units, which means that you can complete any 6 courses of psychology and or statistics. Okay, from those 6 courses, at least 4 of the courses have to be upper division courses. Okay, so at San Jose State, upper division courses are any class that is numbered over 100 at San Jose State. Okay, The other 2 courses of the 6 can be lower division courses. So lower division course is any course numbered 99 and below. Okay, so there are some lower division psych courses that you may have taken at your community college or at San Jose State. Those could include courses like Psych 1, Stat 95, Psych 18, which is our Introduction to Research Methods course at the lower division, Psych 30, which is the Intro to Psychobiology, okay, and or any approved course that you've transferred from another institution. Okay, so again, if you've taken courses at a community college in psychology or statistics that you think might fulfill a minor requirement, then you should come and talk to one of the advisors, and then we could review that with you. Okay. So the one thing about this general psychology minor that I want to note is that if you are already a psychology major, you may not complete a minor in psychology, not this general psychology minor. Okay. So if you're a psych major and you do want to complete a minor, it has to be outside of psychology, okay? Unless you're interested in the second minor that we offer, that's called the Human Systems Integration minor. This minor is generally 7 courses. You can find all of the required courses for the minor at the psychology department website. Here I've included a link to take you to that information as well. Now, what's interesting about this minor is that if you are a psych major, you can complete a minor in human systems integration. Okay, but you should come and talk to one of the advisors if you're interested in this human systems integration minor, because it's a little bit complicated in terms of how to choose courses that fulfill both your psych major requirements and then the human systems integration minor requirements. So please come to one of us for guidance if you're choosing this minor and you are a psychology major. Okay, so those in general are the 2 minors that we offer in our department. All right, so what do you do if you're considering psychology as a minor? So just like you would do if you were considering psychology as your major, what we encourage students to do is to run a what-if degree report to see what courses you'll need to complete if you have psychology as your minor. So the process is the same. To start off with, you're going to go to MySJSU. On your academics page, you're going to click on the what if report, right? Click on the double arrows to go. And then on the next page, you're going to click on create a new report. Okay, so just like I talked about earlier, once the report is generated, it will show you a table with your current academic information. Okay, so again, using the example, it will show, for instance, that you are currently a biology major, and the report is going to show you what will happen if you also add psychology as a minor. All right, so from here, the process is different. Okay, so now if you're thinking about psychology as a minor, what you're going to do is in the area of study box, in the second row of the table, you want to choose psychology minor. Okay, the HSI minor is also an option there if that's the minor you're considering. Okay, but let's just use the general psychology minor as an example. Okay, so the first row should remain the same, right? So the example is you're currently a biology major, so that should state that in the first row of the table. In the second row is where you're thinking about adding psychology as a minor. So that's why you need to do this in the second row of the table and leave the first row the same, okay? All other drop-down boxes on the second row should just repeat what's put in the first row. So the only thing that should be different in the second row is that instead of saying biology major, it should say psychology minor. Okay. Once you've done that, you're going to submit the request. It'll generate the report. And then on the next page, what it's going to show you is a report that will outline all of the course requirements that you need to complete if you have biology as your major and psychology as your minor. Okay. So again, scroll down the report until you reach the section labeled Psych Min Requirements for Minor. Everything else before that section will be the same, right? So your university requirements, your major requirements. So in this example that I've been using, it should show all of the requirements to fulfill your current major, which is biology, for instance. And then at the end of the report, this is where it will show you what happens when you add psychology as your minor. Okay, so the same thing applies here. What you will do as you scroll through that section is you'll see the courses that you still have not yet completed. Those will be marked in red. Okay, the green sections indicate that you've completed that requirement. The yellow sections indicate that those requirements are still in progress. The most important courses that you need to make a list of are the courses that are marked in red. Okay, those will show you what courses you need to fulfill should you declare psychology as your minor. Okay, so again, make a list of those. You can use this list to help you construct your course schedules each semester. Okay, so the process for changing your minor or declaring a minor in psychology is simpler. There are no course requirements to declare psych as your minor like they are when you are thinking about declaring psychology as your major. Okay, so basically to declare a minor in psychology, you just have to know what courses you need to complete by generating the what if report. And if you've decided to officially declare psychology as your minor, then come to see one of the psychology advisors and we can start that process for you. Okay. So I think what's really cool about the what if degree progress report is that it allows students to explore different majors and different minors, right? To see, what would happen if I change my biology major to psychology? Or what would happen if I keep my biology major and add psychology as my minor? Or what if I want to change my major to psychology and keep biology as a minor? Then what do I do? Right? So basically to do all of those things, you would just kind of, play around with the area of study box on this what if report. Again, remember that the first row of that box indicates the major that you're interested in. The second row of the box will indicate what minor you're interested in. Or even if you want to do like a double major, you can put that in the second row as well. So instead of picking psychology as a minor, you can pick psychology as your major and say, oh, what would happen if I keep biology as my major, but then add a double major in psychology? Then how would that look, right? So it's really interesting to kind of explore the different, paths that you can take to complete your academic goals. So you can use this what if function to explore all of the different options. All right, so now that you've done the what if reports, you've explored different pathways, you've decided, oh, I want to change my major to psychology, or I want to add psychology as a minor. I've completed the course requirements if to declare psych as a major, or I'm just only going to pursue a minor in psychology, then what do I do next? Okay, well, the next step or the final step is to come to talk to one of the psychology advisors. So there are 4 of us during the regular academic year who act as advisors, right? Dr. Chancellor Freeland, Dr. Hosoda, Dr. Van Zelst, and myself. I'm Dr. Asuncion. You can find our advising hours on the psychology department advising page. Now, how do you get advising? Well, there are 3 ways that you can contact us. One is just to simply email any questions that you may have to our advising email address. Now, if you want to speak to a specific advisor, please put the name of that advisor in the subject line and also the topic of your email. So say, for instance, that you want to contact Dr. Van Zelst specifically, and you want to discuss changing your major to psychology, right? So that's what you would do in the subject line if you want to work with a specific advisor. If not, just go ahead and leave the subject line blank, and one of us will get back to you as soon as we can. I think the best way to talk to an advisor is to schedule either an online or an in-person appointment. To do that, you go to the advising website, scroll down the page a little bit, you'll see all of our names and our availability. Just use the links by our name to make an appointment. Okay. Now, all appointments, whether they be via Zoom or in person, are made through Spartan Connect. If you're not familiar with how to do that, or you've never used Spartan Connect before, I've included a link here to guide you to how to make an appointment through Spartan Connect. Now, one thing that we're encouraging students to do when they're making appointments is to state the reason for your appointment in the comments box. So that just helps the advisors know what kinds of information you might be wondering about, what kinds of resources we can provide you when we meet during your appointment. So it's really helpful for you to state the reason for your appointment in the comments box when you do schedule your appointment. And then the final way to get advising is to drop in either during our online drop-in hours or our in-person drop-in advising hours. Okay, so if you're not able to schedule an appointment, if your schedule allows you to drop in when we have drop-in advising hours, then go ahead and just come by or log on Zoom when we're available, and we can help you that way as well. The only thing I want you guys to understand is that there may be some times when we may not be able to speak with every student who drops in at that time. Just because during certain times of the semester we get incredibly busy and many students come because they have questions that they want to discuss with us. So the best way to make sure that you're able to speak with an advisor is to schedule an appointment, okay? But otherwise, you know, there are 3 ways that you can contact us with any questions or to seek guidance with declaring your major or your minor in psychology, as well as other questions that you may have. So I hope that this presentation has been helpful and clarifies the process to either declare or change your major or minor to psychology. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.